Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Toons Reviews. Today, we're going to discuss top rated compliment magnet fragrances. That's right, the two most complimented fragrances I've ever owned, ever, period, bar none. There's a little wiggle room, maybe, but I chose one niche and one designer fragrance to discuss for this video, so keep it tuned. Before we jump into it, I want to include this little segment of including my favorite albums and discussing some of these videos. And this week's album is going to be Cigarettes After Sex, their self-titled album, Cigarettes After Sex, which is one of my favorite albums of all time. I absolutely love the ethereal, almost surfer guitar and gorgeous vocals in this album. So if you like more indie type music and slower paced music, check them out. They're a wonderful band. So this topic obviously has some turbulence in the community. There's a lot of people that think that fragrance collecting should be purely about the artistry of it all. There's a lot of people that obviously just want to change their aesthetic and want to attract others. And I find myself being somewhere in between, where I can appreciate the designer world and what the designer fragrances have to offer as far as usually alluring folks in, and I obviously appreciate the niche world. As you see on my channel, I mostly cover niche fragrances. So I find myself kind of in between. I wear designer scents just as much as the next guy or gal, and I found that the number one designer, or at least the number one style of designer, would be in the realm of a fresh aromatic or even an aquatic that tends to be a compliment magnet. Now, it's between that kind of category of fragrance and gourmand. I find that women, because that's who I'm trying to attract most, and actually a lot of men too, in the sense of like men compliment these that are in my world too, my friends, whoever. It's gourmand, sweet scents. They like sweet stuff, cozy stuff, warm stuff, and then they like fresh, sexy, crisp stuff. So I've chosen a niche fragrance that is sweeter and a designer scent that is fresher to kind of discuss for today's video. So let's go for designer first, and this one's gonna create a bit of a ripple, I think, because there is a lot of criticism for this fragrance because of the original scent being so much more artistic, and then coming out with this 2022 version or 2021 version or 2020 version, whatever year it was. Can't remember off the top of my head. It's in there though. I believe it's 2020. It's Dior Ohm 2020. And this is a fragrance that just elicits all kinds of positivity. As you can see in my little bottle here, I've gone through about halfway, even a little bit more, and this is a 100 ml bottle. And I only just purchased this maybe back in May or June, and I've used this quite a bit. This is a workhorse for me whenever I'm going to go to work or kind of a dumb reach for a casual setting. I've even worn this on a couple dates. It's something that I think everyone can fall in love with. It is primarily a citrus and woodsy aromatic type scent. There's a lot of bergamot and cedar, and it's just very, very fresh and uplifting and almost sparkly. And I find that this has to be probably likely the number one most complimented designer scent in my collection at this moment. And I could make an argument for other designer scents like Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme, or even the original Allure Homme Sport, Armani Stronger With You Intensely, Bleu de Chanel. I could make an argument for several of those, but this one, for some reason, really brings out the positive comments. It doesn't matter who it is. In my world, people really do tend to enjoy this one. So if you haven't checked out the new Dior Homme, and you're reluctant to because the original version, which has primarily nothing to do with this one at all. I mean, the original Dior Homme is an iris, buttery type scent with some cedar wood and some cacao, so they're completely different. So I'm not sure why they chose to revamp the name, but I'll leave it to them. This is still a wonderful scent. And I think that if it was named something else and it wasn't Dior Ohm, people would be on it without any kind of constructive criticism or critical thoughts on the whole fragrance as a whole. But this is such a good scent for anyone that's in college or anyone that's working in a profession where you have to be a little bit more subtle. Someone that is maybe just getting into the world of fragrance, and I think that this is just such a good scent on its own, whether or not people think that it should have been named this or not. So check out Dior Ohm, the new version. It is really, really delicious, very crisp, very gentlemanly, and a lot of people love it. So check that one out. And I think my number one niche, although again I can make an argument for a couple scents that may come close to this one, although this one really I do feel like does stand out, and I've said this for years. You know, I could say Creed Millesime Imperial, the older version, not the new stuff now that's just completely watered down and just they've bastardized it so bad. I could say Naso Matos Baronda, that's got me a ton of compliments. There's a few more. Amouage Reflection Man, that's a huge one. That was a contender for this. But Bond Number 9's New Harlem, and this stuff you can't argue with. You just can't. It's absolutely fantastic. It's lavender and vanilla and maple and coffee, and people love this stuff on me. It's kind of like a burnt sugared maple with a dark roasted coffee, and there's a really nice dose of an aromatic lavender and vanilla going on in there. This stuff has been something that has worked for me for years. I've worn this for a decade. I'm so glad that Bond brought this fragrance back because I couldn't believe it when they discontinued it. There was a huge uproar about it. I could have swore I would have thought that this would have been their best seller. And there are several other fragrances from the Bond line that I really do enjoy. Silver Factory, which also got discontinued. That one is phenomenal. And actually, that one was like the introduction to my niche journey. I bought that at the same time as Creed's MI and Virgin Island Water. It was the three that I purchased all at once to get into the world of niche. But New Harlem, boy, this is just like a magnet. I wear this and I can almost guarantee myself that someone is going to say something positive. Now, that's not to say that I only wear it for that, because this is actually probably my top 5 favorite fragrances of all time. So I love it regardless. But if you're looking for something that is perfect for especially attracting the ladies, I know for a fact that women love this stuff. It's that sweet combination. It's gonna make people feel like they can get cozied up with you. It's very inviting, it's warm, it's sexy. And again, it's another one where I feel like you can wear it anytime, any place. So it's kind of a Swiss Army knife if you're talking for the fall and winter months. So yeah, absolutely check out both Bond Number 9's New Harlem and Dior Ohm if you want to check out some fragrances that you can probably count on to get you some positive attention. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you all soon. Thank you, everyone. Bye.